Hello everyone, I'm Jessica Blackbird. Welcome to my channel. Please like, share, and subscribe. And if you guys want to give me a thumbs down, I'll take that too. Thank you. So you guys, according to WBRC Channel 6 in Birmingham, Alabama, there was a pastor arrested for watering his neighbor's flowers while they were out of town. New video released tonight of a Childersburg pastor who was arrested while watering his neighbor's flowers. You'll see the intense confrontation in the police body camera video sent to the newsroom on Tuesday. And so I put part of that in this video for you guys to see. It was a 20-minute video, and it shows Pastor Michael Jennings of Vision of Abundant Life Ministries in Silacauga being confronted and arrested by police while watering flowers at a neighbor's home. "Y'all racially profiled me," Jennings said in the video. "We're not racially profiling you," the unidentified officer responded. "Yes, you did," replied Jennings. "No, sir, no, sir," the arresting officer rebutted. "We are not about that, okay?" "I told you I was here watering flowers," Jennings responded. "How do we know that's the truth?" the officer asked. "I had the water hose in my hand. I was watering the flowers," Jennings laughs. The conversation between an unidentified officer and the Childersburg Police Department, one of three who arrived at a home to confront Pastor Jennings in May 2022, didn't get Jennings out of going to jail. Jennings was arrested and charged with obstructing government operations. Those charges dropped the following month. It all started with Jennings being a good neighbor, according to Georgia-based civil rights attorney Harry Daniels, one of the three attorneys representing Jennings. Daniels and Jennings said longtime neighbor asked him to water his yard while the neighbor was out of town, but while he was performing his neighborly duties, police say someone reported a suspicious vehicle and person on the property. In the video, Jennings can be heard telling the police the gold SUV did not belong to him. Jennings told officers his name and said his home was across the street. The officer then asked Jennings for his identification, and Jennings refused. Jennings told officers he had a background in law enforcement and knew he didn't have to produce identification because he was not committing a crime. Shortly after, Jennings walked away with the officers following behind. Jennings was placed into handcuffs, his phone taken, and sat down on nearby steps. He is going to be pissed when I tell him I got arrested for watering his flowers, Jennings said at one point in the video. Daniel said the video clearly showed police denying Jennings his rights. It represents an abuse of police powers. It represents racial profiling, and it represents law enforcement officers intimidating a person who actually understands and knows their rights, Daniels said. The charges against Jennings were dropped the following month. However, Daniels said they were still planning to sue the department. These cases put law enforcement on notice and the country on notice that these types of interactions. Thank God that Pastor Jennings had a cool head. He didn't get aggressive or defensive in a sense, and he complied with when the officers grabbed him. But Brittany, it could have went a different way. I don't know why they said Brittany. Pastor Jennings could very well not be here today, Daniel said. Okay, Brittany was the interviewer. The gold SUV seen on the property came back as registered to the neighbor who lived in the home where Jennings was watering flowers. The lawsuit against the Childersburg Police Department had not been filed when this article was written. Daniels and Jennings was doing Daniels said Jennings was doing okay, but the emotional toll of the experience would take time to recover from. So, you guys, the neighbor is an older white man, and he'd asked the black pastor to water his flowers while he was gone. And there's another article that I read. A neighbor called police and said there was a suspicious gold SUV parked in her neighbor's yard, and there was a man there also. She didn't know where he went. Maybe he had gone into the house. This neighbor knew who he was, and she knew that that SUV belonged to the owners of the house who'd asked him to water their lawn and their garden. So, in my opinion, this person, they said it was a woman who called and reported this suspicious activity. It all falls back on her because she started that debacle. She obviously has a problem with dark people, with black people. So maybe instead of, well, he could still sue because they did they did a lot of harm to his reputation, and his rights were clearly entrenched on. But everything needs to go back to the person who called the police in the first place, who knew that SUV belonged there. And she probably knew who that person was. In another article, I read that another white female neighbor walked across and told the police where the pastor lived, and that he was indeed a neighbor. And they didn't care. They still arrest him. The pastor says they arrested him once the police officer was kind of yelling at him, and he said, "You look here, boy, don't yell at me. I'm a grown man." And then they slapped the cuffs on him. Well, you guys, let's see where this goes. He's definitely going to sue the hell out of the department. I mean, I would, because it doesn't matter if you're black or white. It really doesn't matter what color your skin is. If your rights are entrenched upon, you have the right to retaliate, in my opinion. Let me know what you guys think about this in the comments.